long before the deserts echoed with prayer, Persia whispered a word that would travel the world. Uncover the forgotten Persian origin of Ramadan.
Welcome to The Explainer, where we break down big topics one slide at a time. Today, we're digging into the hidden history of a word you think you know, Ramadan. But what if its true meaning has been hiding in plain sight all along? All right, let's jump right in with a puzzle. You've probably heard that the name Ramadan means scorching heat. Makes sense, right? Well, what about when it falls in the middle of winter? How can the hot month be freezing cold? That little contradiction? That's our way in. So, to crack this case, we've got to start with the official story. You know, the one you'll find in pretty much any textbook or dictionary. Let's call it our prime suspect. And look, on the surface, it seems totally open and shut. The standard explanation traces Ramadan to this Arabic root, RMD, which is all about things being burnt, scorched, intense heat. You get the picture. It even has relatives in other Semitic languages, like a Hebrew word for hot ashes. So, case closed, right? Well, not so fast. Because the moment you start poking at this scorching heat theory, it starts to fall apart. And I mean really fall apart. Okay, problem number one, the calendar. The Islamic calendar is strictly lunar. That means it's about 11 days shorter than the solar calendar we use. So what happens? Ramadan actually moves backwards through the seasons every single year. Over about 33 years, it makes a full lap. So naming it after a specific season, it just doesn't make sense for most of that time. And then there's the whole vibe of it all. The name screams scorching heat, right? But the actual point of the month is the exact opposite. It's all about spiritual coolness, things like piety, community, and self-restraint. It's a total mismatch between what the word supposedly means and what people actually do. So that whole idea that the month burns away sins, it's a beautiful thought for sure, but it was probably invented later on. It feels like a clever theological patch, you know? A way to make this inconvenient, heat-related name fit a deeply spiritual practice. It solves the problem, but it probably isn't the real origin story. Okay, so if the heat theory is full of holes, where do we go from here? Well, the next clue has been hiding in plain sight this whole time. It's in the way people actually say the word, and it all boils down to just one little sound. See, for hundreds of millions of people in places like Turkey, Pakistan, and all over Central Asia, it's not Ramadan, it's Ramazan. And that Z sound? That's not just some quirky accent. Oh no, it's a huge clue, and it points our investigation directly eastward, into the Persian-speaking world. So here's what's going on. Arabic has this really specific, tricky sound called thad. It's that D sound in Ramadan. But Persian, it doesn't have that sound at all. So whenever a word with that sound got borrowed into Persian, they had a rule. They just swapped it out for a Z sound. So Ramadan becoming Ramazan isn't an accident. It's a perfectly consistent linguistic rule in action. And that's Z sound. It's the key. It unlocks a totally different door, and behind it is a completely different origin story, one that's buried deep in ancient Persian. Let's travel back in time. In Pahlavi, that's the language of the Persian Empire just before Islam came along, there's a word that sounds suspiciously similar, ram. And its meaning? It means a herd, a flock, a company. Basically, the core idea is a gathering. And this isn't some fly-by-night word either. This Persian root for gathering is ancient. I'm talking, it traces all the way back to the 3rd millennium BCE. So what does that tell us? It means a very similar sounding word with a totally different meaning was already there, long before the Arabic word Ramadan ever showed up on the scene. All right, let's recap. We've got the scorching heat theory, which is looking pretty shaky, and we've got this new gathering theory, which seems really compelling. So let's put them head to head and see which one actually solves our puzzle. And this is where the gathering idea just clicks. I mean, think about it. What is Ramadan really about? It's about coming together for prayers. It's about sharing iftar meals to break the fast. It's about that incredible feeling of community. A name that means gathering doesn't just describe a random idea. It describes the entire point of the month. And that meaning works perfectly, no matter if it's summer or winter. But how could a mix-up like this even happen? Well, there's a fascinating linguistic process for this. It's called phono-semantic matching. It's a bit of a mouthful, but the idea is simple. Imagine a new foreign word comes along and it sounds a lot like a word you already have in your own language. Your brain naturally just connects them. You start giving the new word the meaning of your old familiar word. It's like your language is trying to make the new word feel right at home. So this theory completely flips the script. It suggests that maybe, just maybe, the original word was Persian for gathering. And when early Arabic speakers encountered it, their brains did that matching thing. They heard this word and connected it to the closest sounding root they had, RMD, for scorching heat. So the heat meaning wasn't the origin at all. It was a later reinterpretation, a kind of linguistic misunderstanding known as a folk etymology. And when you put it all on the table side by side, the picture gets pretty clear. The Indo-Persian gathering root is just a better fit. It's stable, it makes sense with the ritual, it works in every season. The Arabic root, sure, it explains the word Ramadan. But the Persian root? It seems to explain both Ramazan and, more importantly, the spirit of the whole month. Ultimately, what this really shows us is that language isn't static. It's like a living museum full of words whose original meanings have been lost or reinterpreted over centuries. It's a story of how cultures meet, borrow, and reshape ideas. And that just leaves me with one final question for you. What other words that you use every single day might be carrying a secret history just waiting for someone to uncover it? Buscando un rey, un